All right, welcome back, everybody. Politics and Profits. I'm Rick Amato. Of course, it goes without saying, a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, what given to social unrest, given the pandemic of the past several weeks. So, what about the mortgage market? People who own homes or looking to buy a home, what's going on in that mortgage market that you should be aware of? Join me at this time from San Diego is one of Southern California's top mortgage brokers. She is a mortgage broker with American Choice Mortgage. She also provides corporate benefits for those in the mortgage and real estate industries. Let me welcome to the show Laleh Hanks. Laleh, good to see you.
Hi, Rick. Thanks so much for having me today.
It's great to have you with us. You know, you've got a good reputation in Southern California. You're an expert in this industry. But Laleh, before we go into what it is that is going on in the mortgage market that homeowners and soon-to-be homeowners need to be aware of, I know you have a personal message you want to get out there. And that message is about communication. Given what's happening here in America today with the social unrest, you feel that communication can be much better improved, should be improved, and there's something you'd like to say. So I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Well, I think knowledge and communication is so important. One of my favorite sayings is knowledge is power. But I've also learned that people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I love that quote so much. So being able to communicate and understand what somebody's goals are, whether it be in a mortgage transaction or in, a relationship, whether you have coworkers or it's a loved one, whether it be, a partner, a spouse, or your children, or if it's our country. And I just believe that we've been kind of taught not to talk about certain things. And I don't know any relationship that's that effective without good communication. And I try to open up and widen that road for some people that maybe haven't felt comfortable communicating. So that's kind of my goal, as well with the benefits program that I created, just so that they can actually reach out and communicate and learn, and tie together local professionals. Because when I'm doing a mortgage loan for somebody, it's so important that I'm communicating with their tax advisor, because their tax advisor has one job, and that's to save them money, right? Make sure they don't miss any deductions. But if they forget to communicate with that advisor and let them know that they're planning to buy a property in the next year or two, then that communication doesn't, add up to everybody's goals.
Yeah. So when you say communication, any advice you have, or are you pretty much underscoring that getting all the involved parties involved?
Well, I guess my feeling is that we should communicate more on a local level. I feel like, social media has done some really great things, but there's also some negatives to it. I call it devolution. We've kind of devolved into this little device, and relationships are important. So if we can make sure we don't lose, the importance of communication, I think that we can all reach our American dream a lot faster.
That's a great comment. I just want to make that comment. That is a great comment you just made. Yeah, social media does a great job of allowing business people to get more exposure, meeting people virtually everywhere. Well,
it takes the script away from, the talking heads in the media. There's a lot of news to cover. So on some of the larger platforms, the people we're hearing from didn't write what they're saying often. And now that social media is available, not only do you have, smaller, companies providing their input and their insight. And let's face it, we're all products of, our experience and our perspectives. And unless we try to communicate and come together, we'll never find that middle ground or set the right goals, whether it be in politics or in your investments and profit.
Right. And I agree with you. And just to finish the previous point is that it doesn't replace one-on-one communication. One-on-one personal communication is relationships. Creates a relationship in better communication than social media does. Okay.
One of the silver linings to this pandemic, that we're having here is that we now are all using this video teleconference, and we're not letting that completely stop us. So, again, some of these things can have a silver lining in the end.
That is true. All right, Laleh. So tell us what's going on in the mortgage market, starting with here in Southern California, where you're located, because I would I would assume it's different from market to market. And what's going on, and what should homeowners and those in the marketplace for a potential home be aware of?
Yeah, well, that's a loaded question. So there's a lot going on in the market. We're super busy. I've been in San Diego market myself for about 15 years, and in the mortgage industry for at least 18. And I see a lot of movement.
Wait, so you started
We had a really good job.
you started in high school, it appears, huh?
No, we have these cool filters and lights.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing that I want to bring up, and I know that a lot of people are going through a hard time. I was in the heart of the last two major market crashes. I was in employee benefits when 9/11 struck, and I felt like the rug was pulled out underneath me. I'll spare all the details for the sake of time. But I was also in 2008. I was 5 years into the mortgage market, in my late 20s. And, I thought that I had everything figured out, and that market crash was really, really tough. This time I feel really fortunate because mortgage rates are at, really historically an all-time low. I locked a VA loan, 30-year fixed today at 2.5%. Unbelievable. We have some tremendous opportunity for people to create cash flow. So when you do refinance, and the beauty of having that home ownership, you have three things working for you. You have your payment that's now tax deductible. You have your appreciation, and you're also paying down principal. So we have that ability to create cash flow for people right now, which is a much better option than maybe going for a forbearance, or because some people don't really need the forbearance option. It's there if you have a hardship, and if you've lost your job, that might be your only option. So I hope everything gets back and you watch the fine print closely. But if you have the ability to refinance rather than do a forbearance to create cash flow, it's a much better way because your credit won't be affected, and you won't have some big balloon payment at some point in the event that they're not just re-amortizing or tacking that debt on the back. So I'm kind of concerned with seeing how that will play out. But overall, we're seeing a lot of activity. Homes are still selling really quickly, and there's competitive offers. And if you're going to buy, now's a great time because there is a lot of reason for some people to move around right now. There are people leaving California and there are people coming in. But the beauty is the longer we're here, values are always going to go up. If you look at prices in Europe, how they've been around a lot longer than California has. And, it's like 26 million pounds for a flat over there. So I think, yesterday is always the best time to buy real estate. The sooner, the better.
Well, you provide some great insight. Real estate does always go up, as you said. And I love that, like you said, you did a 30-year fixed rate, I think you said 2.5% interest rate.
For a VA loan, we're getting in the high 2s and low 3s for some really good conventional Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Laleh, we're about out of time. I'm going to give you one final comment. You don't have to because you said a lot. Do you have anything final you want to say here?
Well, I just hope that everybody kind of understands that our perspectives are from our experiences, and everybody's experiences are different. So try to just communicate, whether it be family, friends. I know everybody's going through a tough time, and it's so hard to lose loved ones and friends over something so superficial, as, right, left, black, white. And I don't think that's where anybody's heart is truly at. So, my prayer for America is that we learn to communicate and come.
All right, Laleh, great message on a personal level. Great information on the mortgage front. Interest rates are at an all-time low. It's got to affect the mortgage rate business, which makes a lot of sense. I want to make an announcement on the air. We've made it on social media, but let's make it on the air. Laleh, you are an official contributor to Politics and Profits with Rick Amato. Our viewers are going to see you here and hear your expertise and your personality on a regular basis. We welcome you to the show.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Happy to serve. And one last thing, I just want to extend, we are doing refunded appraisals for all first responders and veterans as a thank you. And we really appreciate the nurses and doctors. And during this COVID pandemic, through the end of the year, we're also offering refunded appraisals for doctors and nurses that are working the front line. We really do appreciate it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, Laleh Hanks, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Broadcasting from the Liberatory CPA studios, back after this.
Politics and Profits with Rick Amato is brought to you by Liberatory Accounting, the IRS problem solvers. To find out how Liberatory Accounting can help you, call 877-6-SOLVER. That's 877-6-SOLVER.